everybody. Welcome back to Let's Unpack That. It's episode 33. This is not a bonus episode. This is a real episode. We're back.
For reals this time.
We are regular people. We also celebrate the holidays and have time off. So we took some time off, and we hope you guys did too. And this is also a reminder to throw out your Thanksgiving leftovers if you celebrate.
Should I need to do that actually?
It's really time to do that. I did it yesterday, and some stuff was rank. So, but yeah, no, yeah. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, hope you had a good time, and if not, hope you had a good Thursday. Honestly,
but, hopefully Thursday off.
Yeah. Hopefully a Thursday off. Gosh, if your company doesn't give Thanksgiving off, I'm very sorry, because that should be illegal. Should be. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the law, but yeah. Welcome to episode 33. This is a literary and media analysis podcast. It's gonna get super analytical for us today. For you guys, it's gonna be 2 episodes, but we'll talk about that later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's plenty of stuff to talk about. I'm not gonna talk about Twitter because I'm tired of talking about Twitter. But
so tired of talking about Twitter. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. There was some drama that I saw on Twitter that had nothing to do with Twitter. Cal brought it up, and he wanted to talk about it, and I am very on board. And it has to do with Smash Bros., a game that, if you've listened to a lot of this podcast, you know I don't respect very often because I'm rude. But they have a very big community, and the community kind of got screwed over recently. So the Smash World Tour was supposed to take place. Well, it was taking place. It wasn't supposed to take place. It was already taking place. And it was shut down by Nintendo because they had not gotten the event licensed, which, if that sounds like, oh, that's a normal thing, it's not really a normal thing. So there's a lot of lore to this. So basically, long story short, Nintendo's cracking down on who can host tournaments a lot more. And they've been doing this over the years, right? They've been getting a lot more like stingy with who can play Smash on camera and also give out money, right? So yeah. And the thing is that, like, and then I saw a few FGC people say this, including like Max Dude and stuff, but kind of the thing with a lot of tournaments is you're supposed to license the games out when you do the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
But most tournaments don't, and most fighting game companies aren't going to say anything unless it's like super inappropriate. They're not going to say anything because it's just a bad look, right? It's just not
right.
Like, you just, like, your whole community is built around people having tournaments, people forming community and stuff like that, right? So Nintendo said, no, we don't do that. We need you to license the shit out. We will shut you down in the middle of your tournament. Meanwhile, another part of the fighting game community, Panda, they're like a group. I don't know what to call them. They're like an esports team.
A company for esports stuff. Yeah. Like, they have a team, but they also have like other stuff going on. They sponsor certain things. Like, it's a company, in my opinion. Like, a lot of these esports teams have like a company backing them. So
okay, so they're a company, right? And they have a lot of sway, right? Like, a lot of these bigger companies in this area, because esports has been around for a while, right? Like, it's not a brand new thing. Mm-hmm. They have a lot of sway. You might see like some YouTubers, if you watch any, a lot of Smash YouTubers are part of Panda. I think different parts of the fighting game community have nothing to do with us, like Guilty Gear players like Kizzy K is in Panda.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Wong is part of Panda.
Punk's in Panda.
Yeah, Punk is also in Panda. A lot of like big names are part of this company, right? They are hosting their own Smash tournament. And wow, theirs isn't gonna get canceled because it turns out they have the licensing from Nintendo, which you might think like, oh, well, why wouldn't that just be easy for the other guys to get? Why don't they just get it? Because it's not easy to get the licensing. You can't just call up Nintendo and say, hey, we want to do this. Can you give it to me? And they go, yes, please. No. So turns out that rumored, even though it's kind of, you can kind of put the pieces together, somebody at Panda has a connection with Nintendo and allegedly made it so that they get like special treatment and are able to have these tournaments. So coincidentally, one of the Panda accounts like tweeted out like, hey, if you don't have licensing, like, you're gonna get in trouble, like kind of snitching about tournaments, like dry snitching.
Oh, I missed that part.
And I think it's since been deleted, but yeah. So a lot of this was kind of telegraphed as it was happening, and it
Right.
blew a lot of shit wide open in the FGC. A lot of people who don't even play Smash were like pissed. Like a lot of people, they don't even like it's just sets a bad precedent, right? Because first it's Smash, and it could be anything else, right? Like
Right.
and and part of it is just kind of making a lot of Panda look bad. There are people who are Potter Panda who have like resigned recently. I think Saint Cola, I think, resigned. A couple other people resigned. Like, and it's just not a good look. So they kind of yeah. Go ahead.
So at this point, it looks like about 80% of their like sponsored players who are on their team have resigned.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So like, Justin Wong resigned.
Oh shit,
Kizzy,
Justin.
yeah, Kizzy and Punk have removed it from their bios, but not their names. I'm gonna send you an article right now, real quick.
Yeah, go them. Hell yeah.
But like basically right now, almost everyone is leaving Panda at the moment. I'm gonna send it in Discord to you.
That is,
But
that's actually insane. I did not know that Justin left too.
yeah,
That's crazy. Okay.
because I'm pretty sure it was Justin. Hold on, let me double check before I talk out of my ass.
Let's see.
Yeah, Justin, Punk, Kizzy, Hook Gang God, Lil Z, all of them have like removed shit from Panda from their pages.
Ooh,
And so
shit.
like while they haven't necessarily made like an official announcement yet, it's looking very bad. And also like of course the entire Smash community is like fuck you. And so people like Hungry Box are like I'm not gonna fucking show up. And so even people who aren't a part of Panda are like swearing off Panda Cup. So they're not going to have anyone to participate in their fucking tournament.
Whew. Well, I guess that's just how shit goes when you screw over your own community. I like actually just can't believe that like
Right.
that had to happen, right? Because I remember seeing it. I didn't really know what was going on. I logged onto Twitter and I saw, I think, Giuna like just post like a picture of a dog like screaming or something, and then I saw like no context. It was just like that, and I saw like a couple other people be like, "Yo, shout out to the Smash community. This is fucked up." And I'm like, "What's going on?" I thought I was like, "Did somebody die?" And yeah, this does like it sucks, dude, because like this is the kind of stuff that people like have been trying to avoid as far as like companies like Nintendo just like halting basically their game from growing, right?
Right.
And another thing, hopefully this is the last time I quote Max Dude, but one thing he said that I was like, damn, it's fucked up because it's true, is he said like, well, Nintendo doesn't really care if they sustain a base from an old game because they'll just release a new one in a few years. And it'll just bring a bunch of new kids into it, and they'll buy the game again. And yeah, it's not a good thing. It's just that it's like that's the truth of it, right?
Yeah.
Like, and it's just really shitty because it's like how do you kind of like sell out your own like community like that? But it is good to see a lot of people, like high profile people, kind of like back off of them and be like, no, I'm good. Like I don't want to associate with you guys anymore. We'll just go somewhere else. Especially because like they've been with Panda for a long time. Like they're not like brand new people. Like they've been there at least like a few years. Each of those people, I'm pretty sure. So
Punk signed on last year, I'm pretty sure. Like he just signed on because it was around the time when I had started following people more, and he announced that he was with that. And then there's been like 2 or 3 incidences where he's had to like issue an apology because he's like a part of like a team now, and he was doing his shit like he does and being fucking idiot online.
Yeah.
And people got mad at him, and they were like, hey, you cannot just say shit anymore. You have to like actually apologize. It's been kind of funny to watch that because he was genuinely like really shitty towards this one dude who he was in tournament with and he lost to. That made me so mad.
Yeah, he was talking about like he thought he didn't smell good or something like that. It was he said fucking annoying.
He did some stupid like gamer no deodorant joke or something, and then like basically said it was so bad it threw off his gameplay, which like it was Strive. We know you didn't do well because you don't practice Strive.
Player,
it's not a secret. He always does that with Strive too, so I was just kind of like, why are you doing? Like everybody knows, people know this dude. He's not like some nobody. He has friends.
He has friends. Also, like, he kept trying to be like, I'm not going to name any names. And it's like, it's a FGC tournament. People can go view the videos and see who you were fighting. And find out who it is. Like, why pretend like you're not, like, straight up, like, harassing this guy, right? So, I remember when that happened, that, like, pissed me off. I was like, dude, I like you. And that was, like, really shitty.
Same. I was like, man, Punk, I like you most of the time. I like watching you. I think you're very entertaining. But, like, this is, like, the biggest, dickest move you could do right now. Like,
there was no reason for that. Like, it's just...
Yeah, it was, like, on the tail end of, like, some other shit with some other player who, like, start shit all the time. And I was just like, why are y'all, like, all acting out of pocket right now? You need to calm down.
They fucking win.
They do.
$100,000 and lose the guy. No, I'm just kidding.
I know.
You don't win that much.
You win Evo, and all of a sudden Happy Chaos is low tier. Sorry, Yubisha.
No, my character is unbalanced, even though I can 50-50 across the screen and do things no other character can do. Anyway, the balance patch comes out December 15th, along with crossplay.
I'm so excited.
So
very excited.
So I mean, I am enjoying Sin, who got released a week ago.
Like a week ago.
Yeah. A week ago, actually on Thanksgiving, so I didn't get to play him until like that Sunday or something. But yeah, really, really digging him so far. I think you said it the best. I think I'm gonna replace Geo with him because I was trying to use Geo a little more, and I feel like she's really good, like she is, but I like his reach better. Like he just has a lot better reach and stuff. He has a lot of good mix-ups if you like don't repeat the same move over and over and shit. At first I thought he didn't do enough damage, but then I realized like if you just kind of do some of his combos a little better, he takes out like 80% of your health.
We learned that together.
We learned that together.
It's a bonding experience.
It's great.
Yeah, I don't know. I said this to you when we were playing together, but like, yeah, I really do feel like he kind of does a lot of Geo stuff, not like better, but like in a way that I feel like fits what you do more, you know? Yeah. And so like he's still rushed down, but at the same time, like he has options. I don't feel like Geo always has a lot of options, which is kind of what happened. Like that's what I see a lot of them complain about. Like there's a lot of situations they can get into where it's just kind of like, oop, well.
Yeah.
There you go.
His 6P is a little better. He still has some trouble like closing in, like, but that's just the nature of having a rush down character is like you should have a slightly harder time getting in, right? So that's something I'm getting used to again because I've been using a character where I haven't had to think about that as much. Jacko, I can just throw little dudes.
Yep.
I don't have to close in anymore. But so that's been interesting. But I'm excited because I think they said I don't know. People have been speculating. Somebody said it leaked, but I don't believe them. But that the next character will be, I think, Delilah. I think, who is in.
Oh shit! Okay. One of the the second
story
part, right? Yeah. She's Deadman's little sister.
Yeah. So I think she'll probably be because I think there's 2 more characters left, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, there's 4 a season usually.
Yeah. Okay. So that's exciting. I'm glad Strive is still updating a lot of stuff. I mean, they have a game plan. Like they're planning to go for at least a few years. So this is the end of what year not even fully 2. Like it's like
Yeah,
been a year
like
and a
a
half.
year, half. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So still, it's still the game I'm liking the most, honestly, as far as like fighting games. Street Fighter 6, we'll see. I'm excited about that. I signed up for the second closed beta, so
I hope you get
fingers
in.
crossed. Yeah, fingers crossed I get in because I watched so much of the gameplay last time because I was like, I don't want to watch any gameplay. I ended up watching all of the gameplay because it's it's a fun game to just watch, and I already like watching Street Fighter. But yeah,
Right.
I don't know. I went back to fighting games for a little bit after spending 100 hours on Splatoon, so
There you
I
go.
think it's time to go back to fighting games, even though chill season just started. But it's whatever. It's fine.
Yeah. You got to do a big run with us next week, though.
Yes. No. Yeah. I'm kidding. I'm still playing Splatoon every day.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I'm totally joking. That game is too good. No, I'm gonna do Big Run, especially because I'm really excited to see how it works on the like
Hmm.
multiplayer maps. I'm glad to. I think is it at Wahoo World?
It's
This
at
time?
Wahoo World this
Yeah,
time, yeah.
I love Wahoo
Yeah.
World. That's one of my
Me
favorite
too.
maps.
Some people
Yeah,
hate that map, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? This is like a perfect
yeah,
map.
it's good. I don't know. Before I even like really got into the game, I saw a bunch of memes about how much it sucks, and I started playing it. And I'm like, what do you like? Y'all must never have played Call of Duty. Now I get my like cane out and my hair turns gray. Y'all must never have played Modern Warfare 2, where some maps were so bad you would just spawn and die 3 times in a row. Like
Yeah.
you couldn't do anything about it. I guess they were too stupid to know what spawn protection was, even though like
Yeah.
Quake had it before they did, like 10 years before. But yeah, so
Oh, man.
Splatoon's still a good game. But yeah, I'm excited for Big Run. I'm glad that it's not fake and they didn't just skip an
Hmm.
entire month of content
That would
again.
have been really funny, but also, I'm glad too. I'm like, yeah, I feel like people who hate Wahoo World love Mahi Mahi Resort and hate themselves. So,
Yeah, Mahi Mahi
yeah,
Resort is
fucking hate that
yeah.
shit.
I don't like that one. That tower in the middle specifically on that one is so shitty, and like
Uh,
just the water raising. I don't know. It's a lot of bullshit.
Tower on Mahi Resort, and then the like underpass one. I hate
Yes.
both of those.
Yeah.
They make me
Yeah.
insane. I don't like splat zones on the under one, but I'll like tolerate it because it's the two split ones, and you're just like, I can't get over the like. You have to have your team
Yeah.
coordinated, otherwise you're just fucked. And
Yeah.
usually your team won't coordinate. But yeah, it's been interesting. I do like the new splat roller. I think I'm the only one in my household who does like it.
Really, I love
Yeah.
it though. It's funny. You can kind of troll people with it because it
Yeah.
doesn't hit hard, but it inks the shit out of stuff.
Hmm.
So I've been using that one in the new arrow spray because you can spam booyah bombs with it. Um,
Oh.
and the arrow spray is really good for spot zones because it's just like gushing ink everywhere. I think I've like targeted
Hmm.
the spot by myself multiple times, but yeah, that one and that new splat roller, it's so funny because like when I realized like, oh, I can't just walk up and like bop people like I
Hmm.
usually do. I was like, I have to kind of like time it right and stuff. And use the little like shower thing, the shower thing. So I killed
Right.
people from that because they're just
That's why I
mad
like
shooting
the
at me.
roller. It's so funny. And like multiple times I've had someone like in my face and I'll like throw it down behind them and they'll go to swim away from me and they just swim right through it and die. Like I'll herd
Oh
them
my
into it. It
god.
is never not funny. I have
That's
completely enjoyed myself with it.
or when somebody's like chasing you and you just turn on the vac and turn around and look at them and they just like
They're
the
like,
ink vac and they just like I think one guy I saw him just keep shooting at me and I was like, like 'cause, yeah, no, I love the ink vac. I haven't used it as much until that weapon came out, but
yeah.
that is
I'm
such
still
an
getting used to it, but it's an interesting super for sure.
it's like almost invincible because like you can kind of like protect your team with it. It's like a big ass shield because it just sucks everything. I've like
Yeah.
absorbed booyah bombs. I've absorbed like
I absorbed a booyah
yeah.
bomb and I could tell that guy was pissed about it. It was
Oh
I got
gosh.
killed before I could like fire off my shot, but honestly like if I can like absorb most of what's happening, I'm like I think I was annoying enough. I think that's fine.
Yeah, I feel like that's when I realized what the use of it was. Because at first I was like, oh, I
Mhm.
mean, I guess that's cool. I get to shoot ink back at them. But it's like, oh no,
Mhm.
they can't do shit. Like,
Mhm.
like if they shoot at you, it just goes. Like it just doesn't
It's just
do
gone.
anything.
If you're like putting down roller ink and stuff too, like it'll suck that in as well.
Yeah, yeah,
It's crazy. Like it just kind of depends on the situation though, because like if you're using it one on one, it's usually not as effective because they
yeah.
can just get in close. But also sometimes people freak out and do what you described earlier, where they just keep shooting, and you're like,
Are you okay? You,
maybe don't do that, bro. Maybe get a little closer first. I feel like dualies have the best mobility against it. They get pretty annoying, but
dualies are scary as fuck because they can just go around you and kill you in like 2 seconds.
yeah, that's what happens. I've done that a couple times, not realizing it was a dually person because I was just trying to defend myself. But I was like, oh, that was a bad idea.
Man,
Because you're like defenseless while you have it, you know? Like you
Yeah.
only have the back.
oh yeah, you have like yeah, that's it. If they go around you, it's over. Or if they like
Yeah, you have to like try to like preemptively trace them. I'm like trying to read them and I'm like, I don't know what's happening. I really hope you go this way.
that it's like that's like the scary part. Because one time I got like full of myself. I was like, yeah, let's go. I can do this. And then some guy just came up and popped me in the head. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, well,
You can get sniped and shit too sometimes. Like it just it's situational, but everything is situational. Like it's just one of those. I do know they nerfed Tentamissile cooldown at least.
a lot.
Sasha was like, "Oh no."
Yeah, I know they use the flings. So
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not mad about it. I hated them. Well, like I wasn't bad at dodging them, but it would suck when there's like a team full of them, and then you get them doing like 2 or 3 of them at a time, and it's like I can't dodge that. I'm just fucking dead. So yeah, I'm glad they nerfed that one. There's some other stuff that needs to be nerfed, but I'll let them figure that out, and I'll keep using it. So I mean, I still think the splatter shot is the most ridiculous gun in the world. It's so stupid. It's like insta kills. It's ridiculous.
The like Neo one that they just put out, it's kind of wimpy, but I'm sure there's some purpose for it. I'm not like realizing yet. But
yeah, I had a good time with that one. So that was the first one I bought because that was the one I was most interested in, and it is kind of wimpy, but it has decent range. It's not as long as the Splattershot Pro, but it is like a decent range, and it's a little stronger than the Splattershot Pro is at some ranges.
okay.
So you're kind of supposed to like keep like the middle. I forgot what the sub weapon is on it. I know that it has like ink vac or something, but
Yeah, it was something. I've only really used it in Salmon Run, so I don't remember like everything.
That's what it was. It was it like tells you where enemies are. So like
That's right, the tracer thingy.
Yeah. So kind of what the game plan is for you for like the user is to like kind of spot people out and then go like pop them from a distance. And then,
Gotcha.
yeah, that's kind of the game plan. I forget what the special is. I totally forget what it is, but the special kind of plays with that plan too. But that's
I feel like it was. I feel like it was the Octo like superhero thing. I can't remember what it's called. That might have been the bucket though, because they have like a Neo Slosher too.
Yeah, no, I like the new weapons. I haven't used all of them yet, but the one I'm not probably gonna try is I think it's the Slosher Deco because it has that like angle thing. I don't know how you're supposed to use that. I don't really understand it.
It's
Yeah.
It's a weird one because like if anyone crosses over it, you can track them for a minute. And you can also do like minimal damage to them, but like I've never seen anybody use it like efficiently in anything. So I'm just kind of like, interesting. Okay.
Okay, yeah, because I was like, I don't know about that one. I'm not too crazy about that one.
I was thinking about trying it, but I think the super was also something I didn't like. So it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's Zipcaster.
Oh yeah, I hate that shit. I'm not good at it.
It's not that. It's not even that it doesn't work. It's just that like I get it. You're supposed to use it to like flank the enemy, and then like beat the shit out of them, right? Or like distract them, or like get to a goal or something like that.
Yeah, or like take out their snipers and stuff if you're more short range, which is nice. But
yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'll let somebody else handle that one.
You can use your little splatlings and your
Splat.
snipe e-leaders, whatever they're called.
The 5H, whatever the hell it's called, the little pin thingy. Yeah, no, I'm good on that. Y'all can have that.
Yeah.
Let's rock.
All right, everybody, time to talk about Berserk now.
Hey.
It's this is the Berserk podcast. Despite the fact that you may have seen an episode about Chainsaw Man that we released, go ahead and listen to that one too. But this is about Berserk, a manga I can definitively say is better than Chainsaw Man.
God bless America. Yes.
I actually do. Reading Chainsaw Man made me realize how much I like Berserk, honestly, in some ways.
It did that for me too. They're not even like the same. It's just kind of like, since they're both things I've read and like analyzed, I'm just like, oh, there's a background, you know? Like, I don't know. It's just a moment usually. Anyways.
So last time on Berserk, it was Festival Eve, Chapter 2. We ended up seeing the Skull Knight come and save Griffith.
I wish.
Yeah, right. Save Rickert. After it turns out that the entire encampment of the Band of the Hawks got attacked by demons, including our little Sliggoo monster that we remember from the first arc of the comic. And yeah, so it turns out that there are plenty of demons around already. Rickert gets shitless by a dung beetle that rolls up a ball of corpses along with his friends. And, you know, as he's about to lose his shit... Oh, gotta censor that fairy lady again. After he loses... Yeah, whoopsie. By the way, if you haven't watched that on YouTube yet, go watch that. It's so funny. I have to censor, like, for like 5 or 10 minutes. It's just censored because you can't see her. Anyway, Rickert gets saved by Skull Knight, who's like, be not afraid. They need to leave because I told them to. And then he kind of just looks at him and he's like, don't worry, kid. Everything's going to be fine. And Rickert is like, well, all my friends are dead. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. Poor Rickert. Meanwhile, back at the tower that we figured out is actually... this is the chapter we figure out, sorry. So in the tower, we get told this spooky story about the Skull Knight and how he used to basically rule over Midland until something happened, which we discussed a lot more in detail last episode. You should go listen to that. Something happened and the entire city basically fell into the fucking hole in the ground after being sacrificed. Guts kind of connects the fact that the guy is probably the Skull Knight that he's seen once before. We know that Guts has seen Skull Knight one time, as far as we've seen, right? So it turns out that this fairy tale was true because at the bottom of the cavern is the leftover city. Oh, yeah, no, really insane shit, right? It is cool though. You should go read it. And you know, all the skulls down below have the curse mark on them, right? Which, yeah. So, anyway, as they're going through all of this, they turn around and they realize they're being chased by somebody, but they don't really care because they're still, you know, in the middle of something and they couldn't really tell what it was. They enter Griffith's cell and he's collapsed on the fucking ground.
Oh no.
And that's where we stopped last time. So now I will resume from chapter 54, which is called Reunion in the Abyss. So Reunion in the Abyss begins with Griffith on the floor of his cell, buck naked with his helmet on. The rest of the group kind of like files in after Guts, opens it, and Guts really can't believe what he's seeing. He's like stunned into silence. And then we get this full page of Griffith on his on his stomach, lying down on the ground, has cuts all over him. He's missing like all of the skin from his back, and you can see like the muscular and like skeletal structure. It's really fucked up. And his helmet is padlocked onto his head, and it's the same helmet that he like wore into battle and stuff, right? Like the hawk helmet and everything. Everybody is like just losing their shit. They are all in total shock. Guts runs up to him to hold him for a second and like see what's going on. And we can tell that like he's skin and bones at this point. He is tiny. His fingers have all like the nails and shit pulled out. He has more skin pulled off in chunks in other parts of his body. He has like no fat left on his body. He looks really fucked up. And Guts notices that after seeing all the cuts and lacerations all over him, Guts notices that not only is his tongue gone, but the tendons in his arms and legs have also been cut, so he can't move at all. Meanwhile, Casca is stunned and she can't move at all. And she has the keys though, so Guts is like, "Hey, Casca, hey, get over here right now." And after a while, Judo just kind of snags the keys from her and hands it to Guts. Guts takes the padlocked mask off, and they both see Griffith's face, but we don't get to see it. They kind of all shudder in horror, right? Casca tries to come up, and Guts is like, "Get the hell away! You don't need to see this. Like, step back. Don't come any closer." And he kind of mutters that this can't be Griffith. Like, this can't be him at all. And he looks him in the eye, and we see Griffith look him in the eye as well, right? And Griffith's eye is kind of like widen a little more, so he's alive. He's not dead. He's alive. So he just gained consciousness, it seems like. And the first thing he sees is Guts, right? So he tries to speak, but he has no tongue, so he can't speak. And the only thing he can do is kind of like weakly lift his arm up, the only way that he can with all his tendons being cut, and like grab Guts by like the neck, right? He like rests his arm on him, and Guts pulls him closer and like kind of squeezes him, right? And he begins to sob over him while he's holding him, and Griffith's like grip kind of relaxes and like lowers, right? The rest of the group is just kind of watching this go on. They can't do anything about it. Charlotte is standing nearby, and she tries to walk up, and Pippin just kind of grabs her, and she's like, "Hey, let go of me. I need to know what happened to him." Meanwhile, we cut over to Casca, who's having an actual fucking panic attack. She's sweating profusely. She's shaking. Her heart is like pounding out of her fucking chest. And lo and behold, the door behind them shuts all of a sudden. So they all kind of break out of their like emotional moment, and they look back. And it's the jailer, who, this is my favorite detail about this, is standing on fucking stilts. He's outside of the jail talking to them, standing on two sticks. Yeah, this is my favorite part of this. So he's leaving.
Oh my god, he is.
Yes.
I did not notice.
So yeah, because he's really short, right? So he's standing on two stilts, looking through the bars, like talking shit, right? And I wrote this as I'm gonna just show my notes real quick. I wrote this as, "My man's is standing on stilts to see into the chamber."
Holy fuck. Jesus Christ, I did not even register that. That's so fucking funny.
It's a good hit of humor after Casca has a panic attack and they see their maimed friend, right? So
yeah.
He explains that he's the jailer, and once again, we've seen this guy before. He's the guy that we've seen who speaks. He slurs his speech a lot. He's very disabled. It's a shitty caricature. We can talk about that later. But he's like, "Hey, I'm this place's jailer. Don't be afraid, Charlotte. I'm gonna get these motherfuckers away from you. But I'm really glad that I have new toys." And one note I did take about this is the whole time Anna is not here for this shit at all. She is losing her goddamn mind. She's like, "I don't know why I came with Charlotte all the way over here." But in the meantime, Guts is just kind of listening to all this, and he stands up and he's like, "Hey, you take over for Griffith, right?" So Judo kind of holds Griffith, and he looks back and Guts looks back at the jailer, and he's like, Are you the one who did all of this to Griffith?" And then the jailer proceeds to kind of describe the torture that he put Griffith under, right? And it's like really disgusting, right? So after he says that, he proceeds to in detail describe everything he did to Griffith. He used irons on him. He poured boiling water all over him. He cut his tendons in his arms and his legs. He took off his skin and nails. He peeled back all the skin on his wounds to see the muscle. Talked about how beautiful he was on the inside. He saw to him as if they were husband and wife. He's the nurse who would make sure he wouldn't die. He was close to him. And he's the best part of his collection. He's his good luck charm. Well, not just Griffith, but specifically his tongue. His tongue is his good luck charm. And he holds Griffith's tongue out and touches it with his own and like licks it. And after he does that, Guts has had enough, and he fucking busts through the door and gores him immediately. So he holds it. He shocks everybody. Everybody kind of is like, oh shit, okay, he broke through the door, even though I think 2 pages before the jailer just said like, y'all can't break out. I put a bar on the door.
Also, like, thick as fuck.
It's a really thick door, and Guts says, nah, fuck all that. So he, holds up the guy on the sword, takes out a knife and puts it in his mouth and slices his tongue. And he's like, well, seeing as you're gonna die, you ain't getting in heaven double tongued. And he slices his tongue off with one quick motion afterwards. And he tells him, well, your breath stinks and you're going to hell. And he doesn't like fling him off into the hole. He holds the sword over the hole and lets him slide off. And makes fun of his slurred speech while he does that as well. And that's the last we see of the jailer. Jailer's dead. So Guts did this, right? And behind him, all his friends are kind of looking at him like, that was a lot. Thank you, but that was a lot. But not before an arrow gets shot at all of the group, barely missing them, and we see a bunch of fucking soldiers at the top of the staircase. They tell them that's far enough, throw down your weapons and surrender quietly. And, Guts is already ready to kill people. He just saw Griffith, torn to bits, and I don't think he really gives a shit about anything else at this point. And that's the end of that chapter. So,
woo!
yeah,
So fun.
So fun.
We are having a good time. Okay, let me share my screen real quick.
Slash.
So we're on chapter 55 now. This one is called A Way Through, and it certainly is.
It is a way through, yeah.
A way through. So we don't even get like that much of a recap of the last episode. Last chapter. It just starts with Guts being like, okay, keep up with me. And Casca knows what he's gonna do. And she's like, Guts, like, can you like think for 2 seconds? But he's already, he's pretty charged up from everything that's happened. So he's pressing on. He starts mowing through like all the guards that were there. And you could see in the last one, like there were a couple of dozen of them. Like there were quite a few people on that stairwell.
Yeah.
We know that means absolutely nothing to Guts, and anytime we get a setup like that, everyone in that room is going to die. Yep. So we kind of saw this coming, but he starts mowing his way through. There's bodies like bisected, like falling into the pit, and all these guys are like, I do not want to be here. I would rather not be here right now. And we get one captain guy who's like, what? I can't believe you're like pushing back. Just like fucking shoot him already. And they like go to shoot him, but Guts is already like running up there. And he like stabs a guy and uses his body as a shield, like while still like holding him on his sword, and catches all the arrows and then chucks the guy. Like we're getting a full blown like Guts action sequence here as he's charging up these stairs, like just nothing. Like it's like cutting through butter with a hot knife. Like he's just going, and of course everyone's fucking scared shitless. They don't want to be there. And they start pushing past the guy who's in charge. And he's like, fuck idiots. Like, we got this. It's fine. Stand your ground. And we get Guts just, like, bowling over everyone, looking like fucking bat out of hell.
they look so terrified. It's, like, honestly, it's so terrifying it's funny. Like, they're not here for it.
Like, it is a very gory scene, but it is definitely also meant to be like a comedic relief moment after like everything we just went through. I feel like anytime they make a guy look like super posh and French, it's supposed to be comedic relief. Anyway, so they're making their way up there, and meanwhile, like down at the bottom floor, Judo's just standing there, and he's like, "This is lot.
Yeah, that's some shit.
There's some shit happening here." And they're like, well, guess we gotta figure something out. And Charlotte's like crying over Griffith, who finally has like some kind of covering on him to give him a little bit of like decency.
I think it's Guts' cape.
I think so too. I wasn't quite clear when he might have like taken it off when he passed Griffith off to judo. Yeah. I'm not quite sure. That's kind of what I assumed it happened. Miura moment.
That's what happened. Yeah.
Okay,
it wasn't shown, but that's basically what happened.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Miura moment of not clearly translating that, but yeah. So Casca's left in charge, and she's just like, well, okay, I gotta get my shit together. And she talks to Charlotte, and she's like, can you get up? Can you go? And Charlotte's, she's still crying, like her eyes are all red, and she's like, but she nods, and so Casca moves on. She gets Griffith situated with Pippin, and then puts on her game face, and she's like, all right, let's fucking go. Guts is already up the stairs. We gotta follow him.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, outside, we get another general who is definitely going to be around for a long time. And he's like, what the fuck is taking so long?
Character.
Yeah, new main character. And, his men are like, oh, I think they're coming back. I hear voices. And he's like, well, it's about fucking time. It's only like 4 people, and there were 30 dudes sent down there. And one of the guys is like, but sir, the 100-man killer is down there. And he's like, you fucking idiot. You moron. Do you really think he did all that shit?
You fool.
you nincompoop. But he's like, yeah, that's just like rumors. Like, there's no way that could happen.
Is that at most a dozen?
Yeah. He's like, it was maybe like 10 of them. I don't know. And then, like, as he's talking his shit, there's just like this rain of bodies that comes like launching out of the tower down onto these men, and Guts like lands in the middle of all of it, completely covered in blood, and they're all like, what the what the fuck just happened? And they're like, oh shit, that's him. That's Guts. And the general is like, oh wait, I don't need to be scared. He's tired. Like, we can catch him. It's fine. And he starts his little like soapbox speech, but before he can even get far, Guts completely like brains him, just like knocks his head clean off his shoulders. I don't even know if he hit him with like the edge of his blade or the flat side of it, because his brain like popped out of his skull.
Yeah, his like tongue is flying around.
It's
still attached to his head, but it's just like
flying
around. Yeah,
it's
a sick ass image.
It's a really cool panel. It's a good thing we're not trying to get monetized on YouTube, right?
No, why would you try to do that?
But Guts resumes his massacre once he's up there, and our little crew has finally reached the top after him, and Casca is once again trying to get control of the situation. She's like, Guts. And he's just not listening. He's still going. He's trucking. He's a machine.
A lot of pages of swords going through heads. Holy shit.
Yeah, and they even like that they've seen him do this like in the staircase. They're like, God fucking damn. All right, and they're like, well, let's go. We're still going, and they finish off the couple of dudes who managed to escape. And meanwhile, like up on the palisades, I think that's what they're called. Up on the wall, we have a bunch of archers, or they're crossbowmen, and they're taking aim. And right before they can fire into the crowd and target the group, they get shot in the back, and they're kind of like, "What the what the fuck just happened?" And then we see the king with his personal group of guards and these two servant boys who are holding him up. Yeah. And he looks like shit, by the way. Yeah. He's this man, it's only been a year. He looks like dog shit. And so he's like, what are you doing? What if you fucking hit Charlotte, you idiots, you fucking morons? Don't do this. And they're like, Your Majesty, we need to, and he's like, I don't care. Nothing can ever happen to her. I don't give a shit about anything else.
Yeah.
Pull your troops back. And so they do. And he looks down and he sees where, I forgot his name, Griffith. Oh my God. They see Griffith, that one dude who we see sometimes. He's not that important.
G-Man? I don't know.
The G guy. He's got his like wrists tied around Pippin's neck, and Charlotte's kind of helping Pippin keep him on. I think it's more for her comfort than his. Yeah. But the king looks down and sees this, and he like drops his cane, and he's like, "Fucking Griffith, damn you, you fucking bitch! I thought you died. Like you're stealing my daughter. How fucking dare you?" And like, he's not doing anything. He's half dead, bro.
Yeah,
like,
he didn't do shit. He actually hasn't done a goddamn thing in the past year. If we're
he literally has not. Like, this is not his doing for once. But he's like obviously kind of losing it a little. And one of his dudes is like, "Hey, man," and he's like, "I need you to summon the Bakiraka." And they're like, "What the fuck?" And we're like, "Oh shit, who's that?" The Bakiraka. A very anime moment. Yes. And then we get a brief, like, prelude to the Bakiraka, these, like, lovely silhouettes. Can you tell which one's the girl?
Yeah, can you tell which one's the woman just from the
I think it's this one. I
think it's the one with the little scepter. Yeah,
it's this one right here. But yeah, that's all we get for this, and that's where we're stopping the day. But we still got some stuff to talk about in there, despite it being mostly battle scenes. But
slash. Yeah, this is just moving the story forward type shit, right? And gosh, good transition from what they found, right? Because I one thing I personally took away from this chapter that I was surprised about is they kind of didn't like waste too much time on the Griffith reveal, right? Especially because we already knew. We've already gotten a peek in at him already, right? So we already know he's fucked. So I feel like we get that emotional weight from everybody else. Everybody gets their own reaction that matters. So it's Casca and Guts and Charlotte. And it's still shocking, right? But then I like it because it transitions really smoothly into Guts is gonna fucking gore this guy and then go insane for 5 minutes. Yeah. So
as he should.
Yeah, which he should, because it is this part was fucked up, right? And I know we both want to talk about this, and I feel like the jailer comes back into this, right? Because now
once more,
Griffith is severely disabled. Like he can't move.
Yeah.
He can't speak. He's had a lot of his like physical abilities taken away from him, right? And I thought this is weird that it was done by another disabled person. I didn't really understand like why. I still don't understand why they had to make him like that, right? And he describes it in like this really intense way. The thing calls him like wife and like husband and stuff. And you know, I feel like the disabled character is used as like it's like this like straw man, right? To be like, oh, well, you can't do this unless you're so brutal, right? And you know, unless you're a demon or you're like this weird disabled guy or whatever, right? And like, it's Berserk, right? Like we have rapists, we have guys who like wage war and kill thousands of people. We don't need like you to have
pedophiles.
We have pedophiles, like sorry, mass murder. The guy we were following is a mass murderer. Like he kills a lot of fucking people. Like we don't need like.
He's a war criminal. Like there's a lot going
so
on.
Many illegal things. Like,
he's done so many war crimes.
And what I hate about this moment is like I almost liked it. I love the part where he describes what happens to Griffith because it's just so like it's that evil villain moment. I just hate that it's coming from him specifically, right?
Yeah.
Like it's this like the gross way he's like we were husband and wife. Like I love that shit because it's terrible.
Right.
It's awful,
yeah.
And it's trying to show you like. He was really intimate with the way he was fucking Griffith up. But it's still like he's this caricature. And it's just funny when you have stuff like, you know, the first guy we fought ever in Berserk was like a snake demon dude who looked like a dude from far away.
Yeah.
Like, so why does this guy have to be like, quote unquote, fucked up and all that shit? Like, so, I don't know. That part still kind of got me, especially because it was such a good, like, horror moment that Berserk does. Right. Where it's just trying to scare the shit out of you. And especially with all the like the graphic ass imagery of Griffith, like as fucked up as he is. So just having that in there, I was like, all right, like so close. Like yeah.
I feel like it's really just like hammering the stereotype home that like people who like either who have Downs or who have like maybe they're autistic or whatever, that they're violent. And like it's really kind of driving that like psychopath like narrative home with it, and it sucks because, like you said, this is honestly like a really good scene, and I think it's like very interesting the way they chose to, go ahead and do it. But at the same time, it's just like it's always undercut with that, like you said. Like there's always like you're like, oh, this is kind of fucked up and kind of cool. You're like, God damn it, why did it have to be you though?
Yeah. It's like Dex's rapist, right? Like the only black characters we see in the entire series.
Yeah,
like,
for like a very long time. Yeah. And I don't know. Like it's so, I don't know. Like the way he does it too. They like make him like kind of creepily sexual too. Like especially with like the tongue thing and the husband and wife thing. And it's, I don't know, he has like some funny moments here too, because like when Guts is like, did you fucking do this? He's like, don't get mad at me. The door is really sturdy and you won't get me and I'm safe. And then like again, like after his after his speech, like he's feeling a little more confident with himself and he's like I said, you can't get mad. And then Guts is just like, bam. And that's like a good like satisfying moment, but also it's just like, I don't know, this character did not need to be this way, and I know they know that because they changed him for the anime.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
What, like even this line right here, Guts is like, he makes fun of his speech. That's so
I was wondering though if that was because he cut his tongue out first.
Okay, that is exactly what it is. My bad.
It's
because he cut his tongue.
Because I had that moment too where I was like, oh, Guts, and then I was like, oh wait, he just literally cut his tongue out of his skull, and like is mocking him because like Griffith couldn't talk to him and like tried to say his name and it wasn't possible, but.
Yeah, he wanted to feel the same thing Griffith felt, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think it was more meant to be that than the ableist thing, but it is still, like, fucked up, and it can be read that way.
So is the guy just, like, a regular torturer stereotype?
He's still, like, kind of disabled looking, if I remember correctly, but, like, it's not, like, as, like, Igor stereotype,
Not as heavy-handed.
Yeah, it's a little bit lighter if I remember correctly. I could be off base, but I feel like when I was talking to Zach, he brought it up, and I was like, yeah, I didn't remember it being this bad.
Yeah.
It might even just be that like that they changed his speech some, so he's not like slurring and shit. But like he doesn't have that lisp because of the cleft palate. But we should watch that together, by the way. And
yeah, we should watch it.
And but I would love to rewatch it. But yeah, I just it kind of like puts a damper on the whole thing because it has like, this is honestly a really good chapter. It builds really well. You get the horror of like finally experiencing what Griffith looks like through other characters there who aren't like his jailer or himself. And you're like, God, this is fucked up. And then, and everyone knows it. And then you get like a cool villain monologue moment. And then Guts is like, fuck your door, fuck your life, fuck your tongue.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck everything you own. Yeah.
It just builds, like you said, it builds really nicely into like moving on to the stuff with, exactly. Like the big battle with Guts, just like, okay, I'm the machine now. I am like the Berserk guy, and we haven't had a lot of
action in the past couple. Well, besides the demons doing their thing, right? There hasn't been like a shit ton of these moments recently, and now we're
Ricker didn't even fight. Yeah,
exactly. So, and if I'm not mistaken, this is like one of the first parts we actually see like Guts' like new sword prowess because he has been training for a year. So this is, and now that I say that, I didn't realize this just now. I think that's why like Casca and Judo's remark makes much more sense.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Both like, what the fuck? Like they've seen him do stuff like this before, but he's like even when you watch him, right, like he's jumping around a lot more. He's a lot more agile. he's like he's swinging the sword with one fucking hand. Like he doesn't even
It
have
is,
to like
yeah.
struggle. So
He did his like Daft Punk training, and he's
yeah.
better, harder, stronger, faster, whatever.
Exactly.
So like, no, you're totally right. That makes sense. But they're like, God, you said you had been training in the mountains like a hermit for like a year, but goddamn, all right.
Yeah.
I also just like, I don't know. I think I mentioned this to you off screen or off recording, but I love when they just set up like nobles to like get the shit kicked out of them by gods, because it's like, you know the formula by now, right? Like it's some rich dude and he's like, oh, the 100-man killer. That sounds like bullshit. I'm super cool and strong. I'm gonna kill you. And then it's like, the next panel is Guts fucking braining him, literally. It's like, okay.
Splitting their head in half or knocking their head out the back of their brain out the back of their skull, like this guy. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that's something I won't get over because it's just so funny, right? It's hilarious. It's literally him being like, yeah, this guy doesn't matter, and this is how strong Guts is. He can just take out this dude who's spent like decades of his life getting to this point, right? And like it works, and it's just, it never gets old. It's just so funny to see these hoity-toity dudes, not with helmets not on, just be like, yeah, I killed like 10 guys. It is what it is, and he's just fucking dead 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And in this case, it is to show like maybe this is somebody Guts would have fought for a little longer if he hadn't trained, because now he's just carving through everything. So yeah. I really dig this part. I do have a couple other things about these chapters. So yeah, because that was the main thing I want to talk about was Homeboy and his weird reveal to people. So the part about the reveal that really got me was when, one, Casca's having a fucking panic attack. She can't even move.
Yeah.
See him. But also, Guts telling everybody, like, back up. Like, he's like, get the fuck away from him. And I feel like it really was, like, protect his image, basically. Or it's like, you don't want to see this. Like, this will
like, this is not for you.
Yeah, like, we don't need, like, I think in his head, it's like, this could potentially make things worse if everybody, like, takes time to, like, realize how bad this has gotten, right? Because, I mean, after this, right, we see that, like, they kind of try to, like, I mean, this isn't spoilers or anything, but they kind of try to, like, reason with this, right? They're like, oh, shit, like, Griffith has not, like, he's like, he can't do anything physically anymore. Like, he can't be our leader right now. Like, what do we do?
Right.
And I feel like Guts was trying to avoid that at the moment. Like, he was probably like, realizing, like, this is bad, like, and it being one of Griffith's, like, confidants, basically, I feel like he thought he had the right to do that, right? To, like, even tell Casca to back up, right? And Casca listened. She wasn't, like, playing. She's like, okay. She's like, especially because, you know, her and Guts got a lot closer, and they both care about Griffith. Like, I think she just trusted him. Is like, no, he's probably right. I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that whole reveal was just heartbreaking, and, like, it sucks because it's like he had his soul, like, broken, right? And another thing I wanted to point out is I kind of read into I might be reading into it too much, but whenever he wakes up, after they, like, flip him over on his back and stuff, he reaches, the first thing he sees is Guts. And then, like, we see, he, like, takes up his whole vision. And he, like, reaches up. And I kind of, like, read that as, like, we don't know if he was, like, mad at him or not. We don't know if he was trying to tell him if he was mad at him. Or if he was trying to, like, we don't know what he was trying to say because he doesn't have a fucking tongue. So, like, it comes off, it's one of those things where it does come off as tender. But if you kind of remember what Griffith's been thinking about, it is kind of like, I'm trying to fucking strangle you right now. Like, I can't, and we see more hints toward that soon. But yeah, that kind of, after rereading that, I was like, was he trying to, like, grab his cheek, or was he trying to be like, I fucking hate you? Like,
yeah. And the thing is, you won't know because he can't do anything with his hand either, right? Like, his tendons are cut. He can only do so much, like, with the mobility there. So we don't know if he was going for, like, you know, a chokehold, or if it, like you said, if it was tender. Yeah, like, he can only do so much. And I'm pretty sure in the anime, like, it's also pretty, like, opaque on what that is. Right. But, like, in a good way, you know? Like, it is. And I think it, like, given what we've seen from Griffith, like, when he was having, like, his turmoil moment that we got to be privy to for, like, the first time ever, like he, he has a lot of conflicting feelings about Guts, and like he loves him, but he's also like, you fucking dickhead,
you everything. Yeah,
I can't believe you would do this to me.
Yeah,
This is your fault, not mine. And like he's not like obviously Griffith is responsible for his own actions, and he has made several choices throughout like that led to this. But like I also kind of get where he's coming from, because it's like, yeah, I was distraught, my best friend abandoned me, and it's like I'm like it's not his fault, but I do understand to an extent.
I understand why he's upset.
Upset,
and,
yeah.
and I feel like that's like I feel like that's why this part is written good, right? Because it wasn't just him going like, "Oh my god," and like his tears start streaming down his face or something. We can't see his face.
No, that would be so hokey. By the way, like that would be so out of character.
No,
and like.
Match him.
And like Guts is obviously also having conflicting feelings, because like he's assessing everything, right? And he is angry about what happened, but I do think like a lot of that anger is focused at himself too, because like leading up to like being here, he had several moments where he was like, "Damn, is this my fault? Did I do this?" And then he's faced with what is potentially his fault, and he's like, his fault, and he's like, "Fuck." Shit, he's not okay for like once. Like this is like a pillar in my mind, and he's not okay now. And
I think they were all expecting him to be okay, and he's not.
Exactly.
Like, he's
yeah. Like there's, I don't know, there's just a lot to this where it's just like, damn. All right.
One thing I did see as well, after he beat the shit out of the dude and Guts kills the rest of them, Griffith also, I think, sees him fighting, and I think he's like, "What the fuck?" Like,
we get like the ellipses moment where he's like,
And he has a tense look in his eye. It's like he's like, "Whoa!" Like he got to keep. And here's the thing: there's a disparity in that, because he lost everything, and then now he gets to see him be stronger. And like, it's one of those things where like, you want to almost have the animated manga tropes of like, oh, they saved their friend, everything's gonna be fine. But there's all this background of like, he left him, he made a poor decision after Guts left him, and now he's seeing like he has what he wants, power, and now he's had all the power taken away from him. It's really well done, because the context makes it so much better. If you haven't paid attention, like the reader hasn't paying as much attention, like it doesn't come off as well, but it still works. Like it still works as like, oh shit, he can't talk, like he's just observing everything. Because the first time I read this, I was like, oh, he's just observing. Now that I read this, I'm like, he's fucking mad. Like he's not like, he doesn't want to be rescued. I don't think he's ever a person who wants somebody to like save him, especially not the guy who fucking left him. So
I mean, like Griffith is a very proud person. It would make sense that he would never want to be in this position. I mean, nobody wants to, right? No. But like I feel like having to save like someone who is meant to be like a leader figure almost like in and of itself undermines them a little bit, because it's like a moment of weakness, which Griffith hates showing in any capacity to anybody, which is why he almost never does it unless he's being manipulative. And it's that's a really good point. And like, he can't even walk out on his own. He's having to get carried out by like one of the dudes who's carrying him like he's nothing.
Yeah, he's carrying him like he's like a kid, basically, right? Like
like he's not reduced, but like he is no longer like a very
what he once was
proud image of himself. He is probably something he would have been disdainful of at one point.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? I feel like this is one of those things that can be interpreted several ways, and I don't really like. I don't see the flaw in people interpreting it as a way as like, his disability is used as like a total negative, right? And like, I feel like the way it's done, especially like considering everything that does happen, there's some shit there. We will talk about it because it makes a lot more sense in like 5 or 10 more chapters. We can actually talk about what I want to talk about, but. Yeah, him being disabled now being like this huge plot point the way it's introduced is interesting, and I don't think that they dwell on it like too long, right? I don't think that they like pick him apart like they do like the jailer, right? Like I feel like it's handled a little better, and I feel like the point that's trying to be driven home is like he got fucked, like they fucked him up, and it was done out of like basically hate from the king. Like the king just wanted him to suffer,
Right.
and it's fucked up. And speaking of the king, I remember reading this part for the first time, being like, "Why is he so old?" And it's like, yeah, Griffith drove him fucking insane. Like, what happened between him and Charlotte like last year literally drove old man to like sickness, which is honestly only Griffith could do that. It's honestly like kind of wild because like he's lost his mind. He's apparently only been searching for Griffith in the past several years, or I mean the past year or so. So I mean, well, he's been torturing him, and then he's been trying to look for the Band of the Hawk for the past several years, right? So I don't know. Like I want to talk. I have more thoughts on Griffith's current state, is what I'm trying to say. There's more to say, but there's more information required before I can really.
That's how I feel too. Like there is a lot to say about it because it's kind of a running plot point until the eclipse,
until
basically.
Yeah. Until it's not. Yeah.
And I just remembered a Chainsaw Man thing I wanted to say earlier. Sorry. It doesn't need to be in it. I'll just say it to you later. But yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like almost in a way like the king is a foil for Griffith because like he's up here blaming Griffith for something that like Griffith didn't alienate his daughter from him.
No, he
right?
Didn't do that. You did.
Griffith didn't make him assault his daughter,
no.
right? None of that. But he's blaming him for it. And like I feel like that is kind of a prelude to like Griffith having certain feelings about Guts that Guts is not responsible for in that way.
He may not even be privy to them in the exact same way. Like that, and that's the thing. Like that's a really good point. I did not even think about the king being like that because it's even centered around Charlotte, right? Like
yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah.
There's just like kind of a like I don't know, like they're both like not well. Like the king because like his own guilt is driving him in this way, and for Griffith it's the consequences of his actions, right? Like for both of them it is, but for Griffith it's physical, whereas for the king it's mental.
Yeah, he's turned to the Mad King basically because
because he had to assault his daughter.
Yeah, his own actions caused
literally his own fault
over the Hawks, his own obsession over Griffith, his obsession over his daughter's purity that he, in his opinion, if we're going by his opinion, he soiled himself. So it's one of those things where like I'd never felt bad for the king, right? Especially because the things we've already read, right? It's just one of those things where it's like this is a good example of like he wasted all this time trying to make him worse, and he's just as bad off as he is. Like he's worse if he's just as bad, if not worse in physical condition, right? And I do think that this is like a good improvement over some of the stuff we've seen before, right? Like there's a lot like as far as like manga we've read before. Go check out the Chainsaw Man episode. It's just like really good writing as far as like. Yeah, guess what? The king didn't get what he fucking wanted either.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with, like, Charlotte did the wrong thing. Because they don't, like, Miura doesn't make you feel like Charlotte is, like, to blame either, which I think is interesting. Like, she's just Charlotte. Like, she's a young girl. She got taken advantage of by Griffith. She was really in love with him. And her dad is a fucking perv. And he took it personally. So, yeah.
I feel like, surprisingly with Charlotte, like she is getting assaulted regularly, right? Like that is an issue. But also at the same time, like she's very much her own character, and while a lot of things happen to her, like I feel like she's still given like not like a sympathetic light, but she's given like agency to an extent, which is not something Miura always does. We have talked about this before. But I feel like in this case, it's kind of where you start getting female characters in Miura's work that like really have more to stand for themselves, and like she's making a choice to go after Griffith for herself. Like she had to decide to go into that hole to do it. Like, did he manipulate her and like force some of her emotions? Yeah, he planted a lot of seeds there, both figuratively and literally. That like, sorry, I said it and I was like, I feel like,
we gotta wrap this
sorry.
up soon. Jesus fucking Christ, he's getting spicy.
Sorry. Anyways, but yeah, it's like there were thoughts planted there, right? Like he intentionally manipulated her to like him, and but she's held the candle for a whole year. She took agency to help the Band of the Hawk.
Yeah,
she went down there with them.
Yeah, the whole reason Griffith's getting out. Like,
yeah, like she straight up like made choices that were her own choices, entirely independent of the situation.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And and like you said, like Griffith manipulated her and stuff, but like that's the thing is like she still is like a character with her salt, right? Like it's not just like dumb girl character. It's like she organized the shit. She helped get him out, and she has her own convictions despite what her dad wants to do, right? And I was shocked by that because I didn't expect to see Charlotte again. Honestly,
no.
After the thing with Griffith, I didn't expect to see her at all. So when she popped back up, I was like, "Oh, Charlotte's back. Cool. Like, is she gonna like help?" And she fucking helps. So yeah. I enjoy that Charlotte is not an adult pedophile like some other
crazy.
Yeah.
So crazy, yeah. But yeah, it's kind of nice to see, like, despite her being like very young and naive still, like she still is a character in and of herself. Exactly. And like I think like you can almost say the same for Casca at this point, like because of how she has been treated, she has had to do a lot independently. We've talked about this, and like has her own opinions on what Guts and Griffith are doing, and she's like, "You guys are both shitheads who leave me behind every goddamn time." So like while both of them like do still to an extent like revolve around men, like it also like you're starting to build up like a little bit more outside of that, I guess. So.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like what the impressive part is that like, well, and a lot of it started kicking off after Guts came back, right? Like we finally see the consequences of him and Griffith's actions. And I feel like that is like a step up as far as like writing for these characters goes. It's like, okay, like Casca isn't around for just like following them around. First of all, the band is her life too. Like she can't just let that go and leave them. Second of all, like, yeah, of course she's fucking mad, but she had responsibilities and she's gonna do what she needs to do. So I do think that like that part is important as far as like those characters having their own motivations. And very hard switch, but I'm also excited for the Bakiraka because it reminds me of all those funny like shonen anime moments. Even though it's not shonen, it's seinen. Shonen anime moments where like a random team pops up that they gotta fight, like the Ginyu Force type shit, and that's basically what this is.
I think
the turbans.
Oh boy.
The turbans, yeah.
I will delve into that fully next time when we get some other visual indicators that I have a lot to say about. A lot to say about. But yeah, the whole Bakiraka thing is like they are very cool. Yeah. But there is a lot with it too, where I'm just like, oh boy. It also like I guess like minor, not really a spoiler, but just kind of like I don't even know what to call it, like peek into the future. Like we do see the Bakiraka again, and like we see more of like people from their area too, and it's interesting how that is handled versus how this part is handled.
Yes,
because I feel like there's a little bit of progress, but also it's interesting. I will just say that
considerably further in the future.
So we got long time. You'll forget it by the time we get there, unless you're like binge listening or watching these. In which case, that's crazy, bro. Yeah.
God bless you. Thank you for doing that. I guess you might. I'm excited for this next scene just because it's a lot of fighting. We do see kind of the results of them. Well, maybe after. I think it's after these next two chapters. These next two chapters are like fights, but I'm excited to see the part after this because I feel like even when I was reading this, I was excited to see what the resolution would be after they got Griffith back. And we do see it's sad, it's complicated, it's a lot of people being like, "What the fuck do we do?" So yeah. And then there's like a small there's a lot of stuff that actually happens before like the next actually starts. There's
a lot that happens.
This villain! Why?
I would love to skip that part, but we cannot, unfortunately. Yeah. So. I would love to skip right to the end of that part because nothing of importance happens, but we are in this to be detailed and to provide proper information, so we will do it. Yeah. Unfortunately. Why are we doing this again? I don't know.
I don't know, man. I do look forward to this. It's just funny because, I mean, you guys can't tell because we've split this up considerably, but we've talked about quite a bit of manga today, and it's just funny. Yeah. One, the disparity between the two manga we talked about, and also two, like just how much you could take and give, like leave, like take or leave with manga. It's just so funny because there's things in Berserk where I'm like, we didn't need to have that, but sure. Yeah. See the devil's dick again, like it's like so many.
Like I guess. And
but. I don't think I have too much else to say about these chapters. Anything else you got to say?
I don't have a whole lot else to say. I think a lot of it will kind of come in more later as we like see more of Griffith and we start to see the stuff with Wild and like the Bakiraka, because like I feel like that adds a lot of like context to what's been going on in the world like since
past year.
Yeah, especially the past year, but like also just like in general. I will elaborate in a minute, but when we're off screen, but but like I don't know, like I feel like it's a solid breakout scene that doesn't last like 30 chapters like some shit does, because now we can actually get to the escape, which is the real trial. So
they don't spend too much more time on the reveal, so I did like that. Good pacing. Not always the case with Berserk, as we all know. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about the next chapter. Well, next episode's chapters. I'm still continuing my Berserk reading. I took a break for a little bit. I'm gonna go back to it soon because
Me too.
It was a lot going on. Like not even just in real life, just like in the actual comic. I was like, yo, bro, I'm gonna go put this down for a minute.
Yeah.
Slash. So. We are probably going to start watching the Berserk anime, at least like me and Cal are, because if you don't know yet, it is on Netflix at the moment. Now, I'll come back next time, but I heard that there's some episodes might be missing, or some things might be like they weren't able to get all the episodes. I don't know. Something is different about it, but like they didn't change anything. I just think like there's stuff missing. So we can maybe talk about that next time, or maybe we can probably look it up now, because I think I saw a YouTube video or something that was like, they missed this part, or something was gone. But if you haven't seen the Netflix, if you haven't seen the Berserk anime series, it is on Netflix. I think it was already on HBO Max.
It might have been at some point.
Oh, no, the 2016 one was on HBO Max. So... and I think it still is. But the Netflix one is the original 1990s one. So 1997 Berserk. I haven't seen...
Apparently, like in some countries, like it's just not there for them.
Oh, okay. That's fucked. That's not cool.
Yeah.
Especially because like they have a huge fan base in like Latin America and shit, so that's kind of weird.
Like you can watch it through VPN on where apparently Portugal. If people in Portugal can watch it,
they have it in India too. Apparently, okay.
Yeah, that's crazy. This is why we pirate things.
Yeah. So just find a way to watch it. I guess we're gonna start talking about that soon too. We probably might break up some of the Berserk stuff following a certain event by talking about the manga more. So yeah, no, go check that out. Go check out our Chainsaw Man episode that should be uploaded as well.
Yes.
Go see what we think about that. We're probably gonna talk about it more, but that one's about just the first volume. So
Yeah.
just keep that in mind when you read it. If you're worried about spoilers, we don't really spoil too much of anything that happens post wherever the anime ended. Like as of
Yeah, we have not gotten there yet, and we'll put up spoiler warnings whenever we do.
Yeah, we'll put up spoiler warnings whenever we do. But yeah, that's another manga we're talking about. So expect some of those sometimes. We also had a Bunny Trails episode, which is kind of what we call some of our side content, where we just talk about whatever. We talked about some manga and some anime in that one, some stuff that we think you should start with, and some stuff we think that you should never start with. So go ahead and watch that one if you're interested. But yeah, no, we're glad to be recording again. It's still the holidays, so we will still probably be taking time off around Christmas because we're not recording on Christmas. Sorry, we're not doing that. We're real people. We deserve time off. But yeah, go ahead and this will be the second time we do the outro today. But go ahead and follow us on all our social media stuff. Our Twitter is let's_unpack_it. We'll be there, I guess, for the near future. Our Tumblr is we'reunpackingit.tumblr.com. Our Instagram is unpackthatpod. So yeah, go follow us on all those places. We also have a YouTube, so if you want to watch these videos on somewhere that's not Spotify, go ahead and go to YouTube. I see some people complain about video podcasts on Spotify. I just want to say this real quick. You can turn the video off. Like when you click on it, the video pops up, but you can just turn it off the video. So if you'd rather like listen to this and you don't like that the Spotify episodes are video, they're still audio. You can just turn the video off. So I haven't seen anybody say that to us specifically, but I have seen that happen to other podcasts. People are like, "Why are they all video now?" And they're like, "You don't need to listen.
You don't have to.
You have to watch the video." I recommend it though because we're cute. So yeah,
we're very cute and funny, and we make a lot of faces.
Yes, our faces never stop.
No,
you also get to see all the shit we have in the background.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah. What is all that shit? You don't need to know.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I wanted to ask, do you have a fucking Steven Universe Funko Pop on your shelf? What is that?
One of my friends got that for me in college.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was like, is that Steven Universe?
Yeah, there's some Funko Pop of Finn from Star Wars. I think Morgana's back there. You can tell
I see him.
Though.
Yeah, I can see Morgana. Who's next to Morgana?
Morgana, that's Yukiko.
Okay. Yeah.
And then above them is the Evangelion ladies. So
yeah,
you can't see that on the camera.
I can't see that shelf. Yeah.
So yeah, more interesting stuff like that if you turn on the YouTube channel. But yeah, no, thanks everybody who's been listening. We also had a good year. Spotify did their rap thing. They threw a bunch of percentage numbers at me. I don't know what half of it meant.
Number go up.
Number went up. Apparently, we recorded over 2,000 minutes of stuff this year, which I thought that was an interesting stat.
Yeah, I was like, that's a lot.
Yeah, it sounds
we
like
talk a lot.
But thanks to everybody who's been following. Really appreciate it. I just like doing this because I like talking about manga with my best friend, especially one that we're both interested in. So hopefully everything goes well and we can keep doing this, and you guys enjoy it too. So. Thanks everybody for supporting, whether you do just by listening and tell your friends about it or tweeting at us or whatever. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Our Gmail. We're unpacking it at gmail.com. Sorry, that's the last thing. Okay.
We'll see y'all next time.
All right, see you guys next time.
Bye.
Game over!